All right, welcome to SRS Chess. I'm going to go through a rapid game today. It's something I haven't done in a while. And I wanted to talk about a very simple idea, which is what is a computer move? What is an engine move, as they say? So I'm playing this Queen's Gambit, um, and I'm going to try to make as many computer moves as possible. So I'm doing the voiceover after the game was played. So I already played this game, but I only played one game with the goal of playing as many engine moves as possible. And I will see after the game how I did, although because I'm recording the voiceover later, I know how I did. So my opponent playing a Slav defense, but bringing the light squared bishop out in the beginning. So I defend the pawn so that his knight can't take it. And now I would like to play knight to h4 to go after his light squared bishop, but his queen would take if I did that. So I'm going to start by exchanging the pawns because the pawn break that I'm looking for is going to be with the c4 push. And I can bring the knight to b3 in order to do that. And then if he moves his queen, then I can play knight h4. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this move, queen to b3, and this is a classic Catalan move. I now could try to eventually extract his knight by moving a rook to the d file. So I'll keep that in mind, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to make the either the knight hop to h4, or I'm going to push the pawn. So ultimately, I'm going to go with the pawn push. If he trades queens with me, then I get another. I'll get another pawn to take back with, and it will open up my rook. So I'm not sure if my opponent will take my queen. I don't think you want to. You generally, so I've heard, you don't want to be the side that initiates the queen trade in this position. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the pawn. And now I have an idea to possibly play bishop to a3. And if his rook would move over, then I would have the knight and the bishop working in coordination. But he moves his knight out to stop that knight hop that I mentioned. I can still play bishop to a3. And then his rook will have to move out. And if he does not initiate a queen trade, then I would be able to capture his f pawn. So I did have some ideas of playing a different move. I did also look at what would happen if I took there, and the answer is nothing. So let's go ahead and get the bishop onto a3. Now I'm imagining that he'll play one of these kind of moves. And then he'll probably capture my queen, and he does, so that I won't have the queen bishop battery. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably just going to take back. I did look for a little intermezzo, but I did not see anything useful. And now he does move his rook out. I would love to have the knight hop up anywhere that it could work in coordination with the light squared bishop, but he is defending all those useful squares. So I eventually decided that I will move. I'll move the rook out, and this will give me the ability to maybe play bishop to f1, maybe to have my dark squared bishop hop up and work with the rook on the a file. Now he immediately takes advantage of my. I guess it was kind of a mistake. It appears to be a bit of a mistake because now my knight can't move, or he'll capture my rook and I would take back, and he would win the exchange. So I guess the best possible thing that I could do here would either be to play h3 and force his bishop to make a move, or I can move my bishop back, so that would free up my knight. And ultimately, that is what I decide to do so that I can prepare for a pawn push. I did not see that he would be able to play this move. And now it looks as if he's going to capture my bishop and then capture my knight and mess up my pawn formation. So that's what I expect him to do. And to do that, he'll have to take my bishop first. I'll take back with the rook, and then he can simply take my knight, and I will take back with my g-pawn. I noticed that my opponent has never played a time format other than 10-0. So he's a strict rapid player ever since he signed up for the website. So a rapid chess specialist. He moves his knight immediately. And so now I can probably play this move with the bishop going after the pawn. It looks just like it wins a pawn. I have to be a little bit careful in some regards because my rook is on the second rank. So I could move my rook over as well. That would be a very logical move to play. It also would then free up my knight. I'm a little bit worried about him making that pawn push, but if I was able to move both rooks onto the A file, then he might not actually have that pawn push. I might just be able to take. I'm seeing that move with his knight, which dissuades me from moving both of the rooks onto the A file. And it looks like I can take a pawn. So if I can take a pawn, I will take a pawn. I have to be careful about getting checkmated on the back rank here. So I'm looking at what would happen if he takes the bishop. He really wasn't able to, because I would take back with the rook, and I would probably checkmate him if he did anything other than take back. So now I'm defending the bishop, and I'm noticing that he'll be able to hop in with the knight. And I want to get my rook onto probably the third rank, because it's so he hops out going after my rook, and if I play most moves here, I might lose the game. I am going to need to drop back my bishop to defend the rook. So I sped up the game by like 25%. So it did take me a little bit of time to do these calculations. It wasn't that easy. There are more moves than it looks like I could make here, because his back rank is not defended. So it's not quite as dangerous as it looks, although it is dangerous. So now he makes this move with the knight, and this was the move that I looked at and I was like, oh no, because if I drop my bishop back, he takes with the knight, and then if I took his rook, he would be in position to take back with the knight again, as I'm demonstrating right now with the arrows. So that move kind of threw me, and now I was noticing that he could probably push the pawn right now, and I might have to take back. I might have to take back with my pawn. So if he pushes his pawn, and he does, I can either take his knight, or I can just drop back with the rook. I don't want to lose the exchange, and so I'm going to do everything in my power to not lose the exchange. I just can't capture his pawn with my bishop. I think I can play this move. He's going to probably make that hop down there, but this is where his position's weakness really comes into play, because I can play a6, and now if his knight does hop down there, I can simply take his pawn, and he can't take my bishop, or I would just checkmate him. So we'll see how this goes. If he plays that move, it's the same thing. I will be able to capture his pawn, and if he takes back, or if he takes, then I will checkmate him. It would be a checkmate in 2. So his weak back rank is coming into play right now. He should probably play a move like f3, but he does not. He plays this move, which allows me to win a pawn. And I was counting my pawns up, and I believe, it's 6-4 at this point. I do have the doubled pawns on the f file, but the middle game has been a success as I'm up in material. So the main thing that I was hoping to do with this game was to kind of show that this one idea about computer moves is inaccurate, and it's an idea that a lot of people have, which is that even Hikaru said, and Hikaru is like probably the top chess streamer and the best chess streamer. He also has played in the World Championship against Magnus Carlsen. It was a very close match, very good match. Often, or at least sometimes considered to be the number 2 player in the world, even today. So he hops down with his knight. Anyways, the point about Hikaru was that he once said that, like, if you had the ability to look at an engine a couple times per game in key spots, then a very good player could beat even the best player. All you would need is those 1 or 2 computer moves per game. And I think that that's just wrong. I'm going to bring my king into the game. So now I don't know more about Hikaru. I don't know more about classical chess than Hikaru. He would be the expert on that subject. But I have played stockfish more than 10,000 times. So I don't know that he's any more of an expert on chess engines than I am, although I know that he has been contracted to play against stockfish with the help of a computer engine himself. I've read about those games. So I do want to get my dark squared bishop back. I don't want to leave it up there, or else I think what would happen is he would trade his knight off for both a pawn and the bishop. I don't really want to move my bishop off of this diagonal. This seems like the right diagonal to have it on, or to maybe move it to the e3 square. I would think of a chess engine or a computer move or something like that. I would think of it like if you were a NASCAR driver and you had a pit stop. And just imagine that the computer told you that you should spend all of the time in the pit stop doing nothing except getting like the heaviest duty tires on. Like it said, you should just not refuel because then you can get the best tires. A computer wouldn't tell you to do that because you would run out of fuel. And that's what a chess engine is like that. It's like something that's keeping your whole system moving. It's keeping your whole position together. It's not just telling you like some incredibly hard to find move that's going to lead to a checkmate or that's going to win a piece. It's not like that so much as something that just makes your position the best possible set of pieces working in coordination for the position you have. So I don't want to give up my pawn here, but it's really the only reasonable idea. My king needs to get up and take his pawns. I'm still going to have 2 pawns left to push, and his knight does not. It just doesn't have the number of squares to go to that it would like to. So I'm going to win his pawns no matter what he does, and I don't see any way that he wins this game. His king is blocked off from going almost anywhere now, so I'm going to get to win this. And I think no matter what, I will have no matter what, I will have 2 pawns left to push. So I decided I don't want to trade that bishop off. I like what it's doing, and I'm going to wind up taking his pawn. And as far as I can tell, I'm going to win this game because there's nothing he can really do. I'll start pushing the pawn. There might be some very complicated, difficult to see way that he can win this game, but with 23 seconds, probably not. So now his king his king can move over one square, but I don't think that's going to help him much. Even with him taking this pawn, that should do it for the game. He could give up his knight for this pawn, but I would have had two pawns left to push. So good game, well played to my opponent. And we're just gonna, it's already analyzed, good. All right, so I played 92%, and we'll take a look at how this went and how many computer moves I was able to play, quote unquote computer moves. So just the basic idea that I'm going for, all of these, this is the opening phase of the game, so I wouldn't be too mindful of what moves were played up until now. So most of those moves, not the top move, but this is where the game starts. And so really all of these moves are top 3 engine choices so far. Now that was not the top move. That was not the top move. Now this gives him the immediate ability to play bishop to g4. And I wanted my bishop on that diagonal, but I move it back. It says that this was the better move to play. And then it says this would be played. And now if he takes the knight, I take back with tempo. So his knight's going to have to move, and then he wouldn't have the fork on the rook and the bishop that he'll have now. So the reason that that's a mistake is because he has the fork. And now it wanted me to play rook to e1. Probably not really a real difference there. Now it wants me to move the rook so that I can move the knight. And we get to this position. Now this was maybe what people would have thought of as a computer move if they were looking at the game, but it's really not, because my opponent has the ability to go with this tactic. He can win the bishop back with best play. The game would be a draw. So I had a slight edge, and now because I took that and he has this tactic, it's very difficult for me to win this game. So I have to play precisely, and it says that he should play f3 now or on the next move, but he captures first and then he does this. And now this looked like the computer move to me, but the real computer move has him going this way, and then after this, and this, he actually wins my bishop in the computer line. Then his king moves over, and at the end of the day I would be up 3 pawns and he would have a knight, which it says would be equal, at least in this position. And he just makes a small mistake there because I have the ability to play these moves. So if you ever see a move that looks very difficult to find, from which there is one winning continuation by your opponent, then that's not a computer move, because computers don't tell you to play moves that have a total refutation. Even if every single move except one loses or wins, that's not a computer move. A computer would never tell you to make a move that your opponent can take advantage of, even if it's just one out of a million possible combinations that win. That's enough for a computer to not tell you to play it. So I hope my idea came through. Now I think this is more about the principles of chess than finding any kind of incredible move here. You just want the king to move up, get into the game, take the pawns out, and eventually make your opponent trade off his minor piece to prevent promotion. And now because I have 2 pawns left, I can start pushing 1, and then I can simply bring the bishop down, put 1 pawn onto a square where the bishop defends it, get the second pawn moving, and eventually my opponent would have to either dedicate to 1 pawn or take the bishop and allow me to promote 1 queen, or both. So this was Serious Chess. Have a good day.